welcome everybody again back to week 3 of how to CAD in Fusion. Thank you very much as usual for being here, especially on such a gloomy day. To be fair, it is not nice at all outside. But at least what we're now inside and we're gonna be doing some fun stuff together. So let's get ourselves started. So what are we planning on doing today? Mainly, it's all surrounding one project, which is making a fidget spinner. This might take just learning to make one in the first place might take a little bit of time, and then hopefully I can leave it up to you guys to create your own. But the first one that we'll do is gonna be all of us together. And then there's a CubeSat. Do you guys know what a CubeSat is by any chance? I'll show you a picture in a second. But it's just like a little cube, like a satellite. So we're gonna learn how to design that, and that probably will be on the video afterwards. And the main characters of today's story will be how to use the mirror command, the revolve command, circular pattern. So those are a couple of things that we'll be using. And so let's get started. Any questions that you guys might have? No? Well, hopefully you have many more questions as we go afterwards. Now, usually our pictorial syllabus, right? Where are we standing now? We already have the first 2 Dragon Balls. So that would be session 1 and 2. So now we're in session 3, where those are the things that we'll be learning. So obviously we're gonna be revising a lot of the stuff that we did on the previous 2 weeks. But today I think it's a very important session, because using the stuff that hopefully we'll learn together today, you'll be pretty much equipped with all of the fundamentals, right, of Fusion. So then you'll be able to design a bunch of interesting stuff. And just, I guess on a fun note, I was looking this up the other day. Apparently, you guys know from last time that Akira Toriyama passed away, which was very sad, right, for all of us Dragon Ball fans, which happens to be the theme of our class, right? It just so happens that Daima, which is the new show that he's creating, is going to continue. It's going to be released in the fall of 24. So definitely be tuned for that. I'm going to watch it for sure. And just one last thing that happened this week, which I'm very happy with, is you guys know that I taught this class for MIT undergrads and grads like a couple of months ago. So now you can also take this class in OpenCourseWare, which is, it's like an MIT website where you can take openly like access courses. Eventually, the class that we're all doing together will also be there. But now you can Google it or look at this link, and you can learn a slightly more complicated version of all of the stuff that we're doing. So in that class, we use SolidWorks. In our class, we use Fusion. SolidWorks is a little bit trickier. And it's not free to use. So you need to be in a university or someplace that might have a license. But if you do have one, you can definitely take like all of those videos and learn a little bit. That being said, this is my plan for today. It's a little bit ambitious, but I wanted to make a fidget spinner that looks like a jet engine, or at least the blades of one. And then the CubeSat, which is that little satellite. It's not difficult at all. I think it's relatively simple. And the only thing, my time this week only allowed me to design this fidget in there. So it looks pretty nice with all of the blades. The video will be up afterwards. So that's what we're gonna get started with. So I'm gonna exit in here. I'm gonna minimize my screen, and I'm gonna start a new file. So are we all in Fusion right now? Okay, so now the plan for today is that we're all gonna design a fidget together. And after we are successful designing that one, then I'll let you guys use your imagination and design another one. So let's go ahead and let's start it. So as you remember, just make sure that if you go to document settings, that the units are in inches. That's what we'll be using. If it's not in inches, you can change it by going into that little icon. And in my case, it's already there. Otherwise, just change it to whatever you want and click OK. So once you do that, I'm going to start by doing the following thing. I'll click on the sketch icon in there, and then I go over to our top plane. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'll do a circle. One circle is going to be this big. And if I click in that circle and make it a construction circle, that's the icon I'm choosing in there. And then with the sketch dimension, I'm going to give it a dimension of 3. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if you guys look at like my hand, right now I'm grabbing like a fidget spinner, right? I'm holding it for my 2 fingers. And then I'm thinking about how wide or how long my fingers are. I don't really ask these questions to myself very often, right? But when you're designing a fidget, you kind of need to. So what I figured just from visual inspection is that the distance between like these points, right? For the people in the camera, you can see it right there. Between these 2 points and where my hand is about 1.5 inches, right? So this circle that I'm designing there is purely for reference. I just want to know how big our fidget will be, at most 3 inches in diameter. So once you've designed that circle, design another one. So make sure that this one is a dashed one. So to make it a dashed one, you click in there, then you click that icon. Then I'm gonna do another circle in the middle, and that one, I'll make it 1 inch. So that's from this circle in the middle, that's from where all of our design will come out. So I'm gonna leave it, I think I'm actually thinking whether this might, yeah, I think this is okay. I'll do like this, I'll finish the sketch, and now I can go over to solid. I can extrude that by 0.25. And then if you go over to sketches, I can click on the eye icon. So it's gonna show the perimeter of the circle. Sorry about that. So then the next thing I'm gonna do, now it's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So now that we got this being drawn, I'm gonna do a new sketch that's gonna be on this plane. It's a plane that chops this thing in half. So I'm gonna choose that plane right there. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now what I want to do is I'm gonna start making a spline that goes, well, actually the first thing I wanna do is I'll go to, let's just create, let's see if it works. Actually, no. So go to create, then click in project, and click on project, and I'm gonna project that line, and that's it. And click OK. You guys remember the project command by any chance from last week? Not really. It doesn't matter. Just the thing that achieves is that I'm working on a plane that chops the cylinder in half. So by clicking again on create, project, and I click on say like this outer circle, it collapses that circumference into a single line. And that is what that line in there represents. So I can click on that line and make it a construction line. So let's just all of us make that line for now. So now that we're on in this point, and you're still, hopefully you're still in the, I'm still on the sketch mode, right? Like if I click, if you exit the sketch mode, you'll be here. So I want to go to like the sketch mode. So I'll right click here to edit, and that's where I'll be. So now I'm going to draw the following thing. I'm going to go to the spline tool, and starting from the violet line, I'm going to start from like a point like here, like a little bit inwards, maybe like that. And I'm going to draw a spline that goes almost to the bottom, but not entirely. It's going to go all the way like that. And I'll say, okay, good. Then I'm going to draw another spline that goes, you can give it like a little bit of a wavy pattern. It doesn't matter. You can be creative in here. There we go. And then I'm going to close my spline like this. So try to get a design that looks like that. So it looks like a palm tree, actually, like a palm leaf. So I'm still in the same sketch where we did this violet line. I started in a point that is a little bit inwards on the violet line. And then you do like a spline that goes almost to the bottom. And then you do all of this squiggly thing. And then once you're done, just click finish sketch. So you should have something that looks more or less like that. All right, so we're at this point. So now go to where it says revolve. So in create, it's that command revolve, or otherwise click on create and it should be revolve. And you can select like this profile in there and then this axis. So it's gonna do like this massive thing. And I'll say, okay, let's do that. Just click on the cylinder body. So it makes a massive champignon like this. So it's we can go here, edit feature, and again it's I selected the profile and that axis. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now we're gonna do something even more interesting. I'll let you guys get to this point. So now we're at this point. So I want to start chopping this into segments. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where it says here construct, and I'm going to make actually where it says offset plane. I'm going to create an offset plane that is offset from here by 1 inch. So I want to create a plane that is just above the original one where we started, that is offset by 1 inch. So I'm going to say, okay, let's do that. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now the next sketch that I'm going to do is going to be from that plane. More precisely, I'll click here on create sketch, and I'll go here to the top plane. And now what I want to do is where it says create, I'll go to, again, project, and I'm going to project that little circle. So you can see now what the project function is starting to do. You're taking, like, say, a circle that is much in another position, and I'm bringing up all the way to like the top. And so that's what we have in here. And with that circle, all I'm going to do is I'm going to make it into a construction line. I'm obviously going to go around helping you guys do this more properly, right? But I'm working on this top plane that I just created. And then I'm going to do a line that goes, I will. I'm going to create a straight line that goes all the way like this. And then I'm going to create another line that goes like that. And then I'm going to join them to make a trapezium. And here are the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to click on this line, control that line, and I'm going to make them parallel. And then I'm going to click on this line, control this line, and I'm going to make them equal. And have a nice little trapezium. And then I'm going to dimension these guys to be, say, 30 degrees. And then I want that distance to be like 1.5, it doesn't matter. So why am I doing all of this work? Because then look at now where the fun stuff happens. I can do a cut that goes all the way downwards like that. And it's just eating into our material, as you can see there. Then I'll answer that question in a moment. And then just to give you an idea of where we're going with all of this stuff is that then I can go here to create pattern, circular pattern, and I can do a pattern of what precisely of that cut around what axis. I'll make it like that circle. Let's say 1.6. Actually, 6 might be a little bit too much. I'll say 5. So there you go. That's how our fidget is starting to look in here. It looks like a nice pentagon. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so hopefully you guys reach something that looks vaguely like this. If not, I'll go around and I'll revise it. But one thing that I do want to do is that I want to make some holes in there, of course, why not? So we can also do that. And one way to do that is if we do a sketch, and I'm going to choose again, I'm going to do it again on the top plane. And in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to go here to create project, and I'm going to project these two lines. So let's see how that looks like. So those two lines are brought up. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm not going to use these two lines. In fact, I'm going to select both of them. Then I'll make them into construction geometries. Again, the reason why I have them is because I want to know how big our space is. So what am I going to do is now I'm just going to draw some random circles. Like one circle there, maybe a little one like that. You can draw something like that. And then go over to solid and then over to extrude. Just select all of them. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it look like cheese. So now it makes all of those holes in there from the top. Kind of fun. And then the next thing that we're gonna do is another circular pattern. So we can go over to pattern, circular pattern, and I'm gonna choose that extrusion, and the axis will be that big circle. And say, okay. So now you got a cheese-like fidget spinner. At least one part of it, but then we need to do the bottom half of this stuff. So let's give it a shot. All right, so don't worry too much about the holes or to make it look like a cheese. And what I think is important now is to do the following thing, right? Now this is the top half of our spinner. Now I wanna do the bottom half of this thing. So how do we do the bottom half? It's actually very simple. All we're gonna do is, let me just, actually, it doesn't matter. Go here to where it says create and click in mirror. And when you wanna click on mirror plane, just select that face. And when you wanna select, I guess objects, just select like pretty much everything. I'm gonna do 1, 2. Actually, let me try again. Here, let me go to mirror. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll select that face. All right, you're not gonna let me because the face is gonna disappear. So I'm gonna use instead this plane. It's fine. Okay. So let's do it that way. Go here again to create mirror, and I'm gonna select the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then for plane that boy. Oh, what are you saying? I might need to edit some of these things. I should. I changed something. 1 second. I'm just creating a plane in that face to see whether that's gonna help me perhaps a little bit. I'm just gonna try it another way then. Oh, there it worked. No, now I got like both sides of our thing. All right, so suppose we reached this point. There's just 2 more things that I want to do before we wrap up today. So one thing that I think would be interesting to do is the following one. I'm gonna try this one. I haven't done it with the previous group, so I'm not sure whether it's gonna work or not, but we can give it a shot. Click here in sketch and click on that face. So and I clicked on like that face in here, and I'm gonna draw a line that goes all the way from, say, like this point to like that point. And that line actually I'm gonna make it construction. And then I'm gonna do a circle that goes from the middle of that line. I'm just doing a circle. So I'm drawing a circle in here. This is gonna be like a funky thingy. I hope it works. This is gonna be fun. I think that what I want to do is go here to solid. I'm gonna try two ways of doing this. One way is doing sweep, in which case I'm gonna select this profile in here. I want to try something. If it works, I'll explain. If otherwise, I won't explain. Here. Oh, that might actually work. That's great. That'll be nice. I want to join. Okay, good. It did work. That's excellent. Shall do it again. Okay, so what am I asking you guys to do? So creating sketch and click on that face. If you have a face that looks like that. In some of your cases, this is already closed up. So it doesn't need to be exactly like I'm gonna do it. It's just a thing to try out. So click on that face. So that is, oh, it's that face in there, right? It just disappear. And what I'm gonna do is I do a line, a construction line that goes from this point to that point. You can try to do it. If it's too complicated, don't worry. And then I'm going to do another circle that goes from the middle of that line to that line. So then you have something that looks like this. You have a circle being drawn on that face. So the reason why I'm doing that is because then what I can do is go here to solid and then to create and then go to where it says sweep. So now I can click on those guys and then on path, just select that line. So essentially sweeps through like a little cylinder and I want to make it join. I can say, okay. So now once you've done that, we can do something even better, which is now you can go here to create sketch. Also on that very same face. What I can do is I can draw, say like another circle there. Something along those lines. So then what I could do is I can go to solid, then to sweep. There we go. And I can say, yes, I want the exact same path, but this time I want to cut. Does that make sense? So then look at how that will look like. Very good. Then I got something that looks like a little ring of sorts. I mean, that looks pretty okay. And you have like and then if you wanted to get like very, very creative, right? One last thing that we could do from here is if you were to do another, this one, you don't need to follow through. It's just, I'm just being experimental now. Like nothing too fancy. I'm just in the, let me show you exactly what I'm gonna do. Let me just delete this again. I'm in the mid plane where we used to be before, and I'm gonna click it here. And I'm gonna go here to create, project, and I'm gonna project that line in here. I can make that into a construction line. Oh my goodness. There we go. For construction, and I can make like a little, like, I don't know, airplane wing, for instance, out of this. So I could do like something that looks. Yeah, well, that would be. Those two coincident. There we go. I'm really not sure what I'm designing right now, but I think it looks nice. I can make that go downwards by a little bit. I'm gonna make it double-sided. And I want in both cases to join. So it makes like a little like wing to this thing. So now the next thing that we can go to here to create, then go to pattern and do circular pattern of all of these features. I click that, I click that, I click that. I'm gonna make it around that axis. So now you got like a, I don't know, it looks like a very sophisticated like ninja star that has like cheese on it. So at least try to do like that cylinder. I'll give you a hand before we wrap up today. Right, so one last thing that we need to do is we haven't done is this thing needs a button, right? Like a piece here, like there's no part on this figure where I'm holding it from. So let's do that, right? That's the last thing that we'll do today. So to achieve that, I'm gonna go here to sketch, and I'm gonna go to the middle of my piece. And the first thing I wanna do actually is a quick circle. I'll make it 0.5, it doesn't matter. Whatever dimension, and I'm gonna extrude it upwards by, say, 0.1. Or 0.05 actually. Good. So I'm gonna leave that little circle like that. Excellent. And now the next thing I'm gonna do is another sketch. It's gonna be right there. So it's a sketch that also cuts this cylinder in half. And more precisely, what we'll do is we'll go back to create and then back to project, and I'm gonna project that line as usual. So now the top of this circle has that violet line projected in there, and I'm gonna make that violet line into a construction geometry. Very good. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a line that goes all the way from here to the middle, and then does something like that. Oh, maybe I should do it like this, okay. And then I'm gonna draw yet another one. Actually, I don't want that one. That's fine. And then with a spline, I'm gonna draw something that looks vaguely like that. I just rearrange these spline points. So this is gonna, so why am I doing all of this stuff? Because now what we can do is go here to solid and go back to revolve. And I wanna revolve, yes, obviously this stuff around here. So that becomes like the head of the button, right? Where you would be holding all of this stuff from. But that's only one side. What we would need to do now is go all the way to create. You can do a mirror. And I want to mirror features. I want to mirror these two guys around what plane? Along that plane. Good. So now they appear down there. So that's essentially it. This is our fidget. Maybe one thing that I'm gonna do just to make it look a little bit cooler is, since I have this plane over here, I can just do one last thing, which I think could be nice, which is one circle. It goes maybe all the way like that. And make it like 1 inch big. I'll make it go 0.5 one direction. Make it go 0.5 on the other one, and I want to make it join. That way it looks like a more proper. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I think I'm very satisfied with this cheese, whatever. I'm not sure what we can call this. So this being said, I'm gonna just show you. I'm gonna stop the recording just for one moment, and now I'm just gonna help you guys with what remains of today. Do whatever you need to do. But if we go back to the slides, the only thing that remains as usual, if you have any questions, please email me. I'm more than happy to answer them. And next week, we're going to have fun doing the snowman and the banana. TBD on how difficult these are going to be or not. I need to try them by myself over the week. But other than that, that is it for today. So thank you. All right. Hi, folks. Welcome back. I guess in this little quick video, what I wanted to do is show an example on how to do a slightly more complicated type of fidget spinner. And one of the skills that I will be using, it's called loft. It is something that we're not meant to be learning today. We'll be learning that apart actually next week. But I still wanted to give it a shot because I want to make a design that is based on like a jet engine as you will see in just a moment when I show you these pictures. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen right now. And I will go here down to Fusion, and I will minimize this. And there we go. Excellent. All right, so now we're in Fusion right now, as you all can see. And we go over to just to Google in here. What is this inspired on? You might be asking. Well, what I want to do is make something that is inspired on a compressor. And this is a jet engine schematic. This is obviously um, not a jet engines class, but why not learn a little bit about that? So essentially, air is going to be flowing. If you fly an airplane, obviously you have these guys that power your airplane, and you have most of the air is going to be flowing through these streams that are called the bypass. And there's a bypass ratio, right? That determines how much air is going through these streams as opposed to the air. And it's the air that goes through these streams over here that actually provide the thrust that move the airplanes forward. So then you might be wondering how do you make this thing, which is called the fan, move in the first place? And here they put like 2-stage fans, which is kind of weird. I haven't seen that in the past. Maybe the schematic is not the best one, but in essence, it's this stuff in here. That's what we call the core. And it's the core that actually drives the fan, and it's the fan that then makes all of the air through the bypass stream to generate the thrust. So then air goes here through the compressor, and then that essentially just brings the pressure of the air to, say, from the atmospheric pressure to a very, very high pressure, maybe 30 times as high. And then you go over to the combustor. That's where you're igniting all of this air with like some fuel mixture is coming in, and that increases the energy, and that energy then drives this part over here that's called the turbine. So whenever we refer to turbine, it's the I guess the backmost part of the engine, and all of this is connected to one shaft, and it is that energy that is used to drive the fan in the first place. So you have thrust from the stream, thrust from the core area. So what does all of this have to do with design? Well, a lot of it actually. But what I want to design is this blade and make that into a fidget spinner. And what I thought is making something that looks more or less like this, maybe 2 stages of this. So we'll see, let's give it a shot. So let's go here to Fusion, right? And what I'm gonna start doing right now is the following thing. I'm gonna create a sketch right there on the top plane. And I'm gonna maybe do one line. Let's make a construction line. I haven't done this in a while. And probably the dimensions are not going to be, I'm not going to be too worried about the dimensions because then we can always scale our design. So maybe I'm going to start with something that is, say, 0.5 inches. That sounds reasonable. Oh, I want to delete that line. I don't need that. Oh, there we go. And maybe I'm going to use my spline tool in here. There we go. Give this like some aerodynamic feel. I click escape. There we go. And then I'm gonna make the exact same thing right there. All right, so now we got a sketch that looks somehow like a jet engine blade. So that's good. Well, I'm gonna actually finish my sketch. Yeah, I guess I'd leave the panel in there. Okay, so that's what we got. That's just the outline of our blade. Now I want to give this a little bit of twist, and that's what I was referring to with regards to the spline command. So what do I mean by that? Well, the following thing is that now I'm gonna make another sketch. Well, actually, I'm not gonna make a sketch yet. I'm gonna go here to where it says construct, and we're gonna make a plane that's gonna be an offset plane from here. So I want maybe, let's see, 1 inch. How would that look like? Yeah, this seems like a decent distance. Maybe inch and a half, so I can always go back here. Here, edit feature. I can give that 1.5. Let's see. Okay, I think that's decent enough. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a sketch in this plane. So now we're in a plane that is offset from the original plane that we started working from 1.5. And the first thing I want to do in this plane, which it's right here, is I'm gonna project that stuff. Why am I gonna, you'll see in a moment, why do I wanna project? So I'm gonna here go to project, and I'm gonna click on that line, and on that line, and say, okay. And then I'm gonna click on these guys, and I'll make them construction geometries. So I don't need these lines at all. Like they're not gonna be used. I just wanna know in general what is the size of our blade. And I actually wanted to know also what are the positions of those 2 points. But now I'm gonna make a slightly different blade design that's gonna be twisted by a little bit. And you'll see what I mean in a second, right? Because you know there's an angle there and there's like a slightly different angle there. So I'm gonna give it some twist. In essence, what I'll do is the following thing. I'm gonna draw a line, construction line. That's gonna go maybe like that. So there's gonna be a lot of twist as you can see. And then as usual, we can say, where's our friend the dimension? We can dimension that. Yeah, 0.15. We can make it however we want. Then I'm gonna make again our spline tool. But it can be like a completely different curvature. So in here, I'm not making this in any particular way. I'm just exploring, right? It's more like exploratory. This is like a very thin design. But the reality is that people that actually do this for a living, and I know many people exist, they would probably be running some like fluid mechanics, modeling, right, to determine how to do this. But for now, I'm happy with our sketching here, right? So we got one line there, we got another line there. So now what we're gonna do is make a model that goes all the way from here to there. And the way to do that is, I'm gonna go here, which says create, and there's this thing that's called loft. And this is a pretty cool tool that we'll be using extensively afterwards, but it's gonna ask us to select profiles. So one profile that I'm gonna select is, for instance, let me go here, that one, and that one. And you see how it's generating a little airplane. And I think I'm satisfied with this, just to make a simple model, and it's gonna connect them using straight lines. I think that's fine. I'll say okay, very good. Now we got a pretty good airplane blade, right? So it goes all the way like that. However, what I could have done instead is I could have raised that a little bit more, so I can always say go back here in time, say edit. I could say, all right, actually, I don't want that to be 125. I want that twist to be more noticeable. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to move the spline tool. There we go. Yeah, the spline tools, because we didn't define them, right? That's why they will be a little bit of a pain. Whenever you do like an editing of the dimensions like we just did, they are not going to be happy. So you'll have to define, you have to edit them again. But if we go here to edit sketch, see how that is pretty cool. So now we got our airplane blade, right? So what are we gonna do with this? Right, so we got our blade, and now here's the deal, right? I'm gonna start, say, I wanna make now a circle in here, right? That is gonna essentially encompass, like, I guess we can call it like the main nucleus, right, of this space. So how we do that? And then let's go over to sketch. I'm actually, let me just go here to origin. The plane I want that plane. Okay, good. So why am I doing that? Because now I'm gonna draw a line that goes all the way from here. Yeah, I think that's a decent. Where's our friend? There we go. Dimension. We're gonna dimension that to be 0.25. Let's see. Let's see how that looks like. And I'm gonna make a little circle. I mean, that's a decent dimension. So let's see. This circle is gonna be, well, let's say 0.55, right? So now what I'll do is I'm gonna bring this up by 0.5. Yeah, I think that makes sense. But I don't wanna kind of wanna join everything. Okay, good. So now we got our blade sticking off from our hub. So now here's where the magic happens. The question is how many of these blades would we want? And let's say we want, say, 20 of these. So what we'll do is we'll go over here to, where's our friend? I believe it's in circular pattern. There we go, pattern, circular pattern. And I want to do it of a feature. This feature is going to be this loft right there. Axis is gonna be this circle. As you can see, it's already giving you a preview of how this is gonna look like. Ah, we can do 20. Very good. Yeah, so maybe what I could have done is increase a little bit the height, but I'm gonna work on those details in a moment. And so now we got, I guess, what we could call the first stage of our turbine. Maybe a couple of things that I could do now is I can say, go back here, go here to edit, and I can change that to be 0.65 instead, and it will edit appropriately. Then another thing that I could do is, yeah, so we have the height in here. I want to now make a circle that encompasses all of these around it, right? So now I'll do another sketch on this face, and I'll make one circle that goes all the way from the center to, let's say that point. You'll see in a moment what I'm doing. That point. So I want to make it slightly less. That way I can make sure that all of the blade will be in there. So that circle is going to be, let's call it 3.48. And let's make this one in here be 3.6. There we go. So now when we go here to solid, I want to actually choose this circle right there. Boom. And I want to extrude all the way up to object, and this object is gonna be that face. And I don't want to cut, I want to join. There we go. Okay. Now we got a pretty cool looking turbine blade in there. Now you might be asking, can we change the angle a little bit more? Yes, we can. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. Like I like this design, but I think we can make it even better. Like I'm gonna increase that to like 0.4. These are like modern airplane blade designs, and you'll see how this is gonna look like in a moment. Yes, it's kind of a mess now modifying the splines, but I think it's fun. It's a nice learning exercise to do this manually the way that we are doing it right now. Boom. Very nice. Yes, we have done the splining here. So yes, it's like an art, right? You have to be careful, and there we go. I think that looks quite decent. Nice. Yeah, so let's see. Let's click finish sketch. How will this look like now? Oh boy. Right now, that looks a lot more like a jet engine. The thing is that now, obviously, we might need to extend this radii a little bit farther out, right? Well, there it's sticking out. But I like more this design. So now we're gonna do one very similar to this on the top. So let's go back here. Here in edit. What I'm gonna do is go over to this bad boy. Maybe that'll leave it like that. Maybe this shall do 3.7. There we go. Excellent. Nice. Okay. This looks decent. I like it. And now, yeah, we got it. So we got a nice looking airplane blade. Now, this could totally be the end of our fidget, but we're gonna make it look fancy. I want to add like one more stage on the top, one more in the bottom. One thing I'll do right now is that I'm gonna construct yet one more plane, and I'm calling it a mid plane. And to do that is I'm gonna select that face, and I'm gonna select this face in here. That way I have a plane that is right on the middle. And this one will be useful afterwards, not yet now. You'll see why it's going to be useful. Now, in the time being, I'm going to start creating myself yet another airplane blade. And the way I'm going to do that is I need to think for a second what the strategy will be in this case. Because we started creating our, if you remember, right, that's, I don't even know where the original airplane blade is. Let's see whether we could even find it. I don't remember what was the original plane. Maybe it was that one. In other words, it has to be bordering one of these guys. So maybe what I could do is, let's see, I'm gonna go right here. And I also want to make a design that has like 20 blades over here. So maybe I'll try to create a flat surface around there. We'll work from there. We'll see. In the end, it's not going to be a problem because it also is going to have like a circle. So what about starting with, let's see, let's find the origin, right? There we go. So I know that actually I want to make that line a construction line. Very good. And let me just do another construction line that goes all the way there. Right, so that's going to be, yes, the main blade is going to come out. Yeah, maybe there might be a little bit of differences, but I think that's gonna look good in the long run. So maybe let's see. I'm gonna draw a little flat surface like that. There we go. Actually, it doesn't need to be. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna click in this line, control click in that line. I made those two equal. Very good. And now I can dimension a little bit just that way we know where this is in space. Yeah, 0.05 doesn't matter. Um, yeah, 0.01, that's fine. And I don't care. Now we're gonna go here to solid and we're gonna make, if the original one was 0.5 inches, I believe, I wanna make this one 0.25. Let's see. Yes, that's about half, maybe a little bit more. Let's say 0.35. Good. Okay, good. Excellent. So now I'm gonna draw my new blade profile in here. So what am I gonna do? The following thing. I'm gonna go here to click sketch. We can do a quick line that goes all the way from here to here. Doesn't, we don't need to be super precise about this, but just in case I can still define some of these things. There's no harm. And now with the usual spline tool, what I can do is draw the profile of, let's call it the top blade. Ah, no, actually, I should have, I always forget about this. I have to click on the OK sign. There we go. Okay, excellent. Let's do something. Terrific. And we can always edit some of these points like this. Very nice. Okay, great. So we got that one in there. So then what we could do is now do another plane, offset plane. We're gonna offset it from here. And what distance, let's see. We could do 1.5, maybe 1 in this case. So it's gonna be a slightly smaller turbine, but that will make it more fun. That'll make it look like a very interesting turbine design. We'll see exactly. I have some ideas of how I'd like this to look. Maybe maybe a little bit more. I can just go here, edit feature. Yeah, 1.2. There we go. Excellent. I think I'm satisfied with that. Now we're gonna do the same drill as before. We're gonna do a sketch on this new plane, and just a before, I'm gonna go here to project, just to just to know what dimensions are we looking at here. We'll say okay. These guys, I'll make them construction. Very good. Construction geometries. And there's gonna be obviously some, and now we're gonna make it differently. I want, there we go. It's gonna be now swept backwards instead of forwards, like we did with the previous case. So I'll go here to dimension, and I'll say that's gonna be 0.18. Excellent. And now let's start drawing. Well, actually, there we go. And now, yes, let's start drawing. I'm really not sure how this is gonna look like, but could be fun. All right, great. I think that looks fine. So now the challenge that you guys were all waiting for, which is, all right, let's extrude this thing. So we're going to create loft. I'm gonna check that surface, that profile there. How does this look? Oh wow, why? I'm curious to see why is, well, that is very interesting. I mean, I wasn't expecting like this particular curvature to happen, but I also don't dislike it. Uh, wondering, I think I know how I could solve this, which is making a sketch here. Oy. Let's see. That's gonna connect to a solid line. Well, first I would need to project like that point and this point. Good. Now that I've done that, yes, I can connect those two lines. Just like this, a solid line. And I'll say, okay, good. So this is what we're gonna use guiding lines. That's what the rails would be called in there. So if we were to do that, then we can go here to loft. Loft. Let's try again. Let's see how would that work. Boom. Let's see for guiding rails. Interesting. Now Mm, mm, maybe just like this. I'm gonna try one little hack before I give up, which is gonna be um just editing the sketch in here. Mm, no, what I would want to see is see if I click and fix. Could I move that? Okay, that is very good. It might help us in a second. There we go. Okay. The not I'm not sure whether it's gonna work. Worth giving it a shot. Let's see. So in other words, I don't want that to be touching immediately. I'm gonna give it a little bit of clearance, as you can see, which I should have done actually in the first place. Let's see. All right. We're gonna complain now. Um, but now, yes, I'm gonna go back in time. So see, that's gonna be wrong. Now I wanna edit this sketch. Okay, it's that one. It's also gonna be wrong. Sorry. Let's see this sketch for a second. Where are you looking? Slightly above, as I thought. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's see. Doing a loft now. Actually, I should go here to sketches. Let me show this to there. There. One and two. Good. Requires a lot of patience to do these sort of things. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, wow, like why is this happening? I could have modified this point. You see, like, not, it seems to me, just from looking at this, that not all curvatures can be achieved, apparently. I'm gonna try one last thing, which is if I were to make a sketch here at the very top plane of these guys, and I wanted to draw a line that went from, well, actually, I would need to do a project of at that point. Let's see. Okay, or leave it like that. Oh, I should have. Let me just do it again. There we go. Okay, that seems to do the trick. It seems to be working, but I'm gonna click OK, and boom, that just hide all of these guys. It seems that that line isn't avoidable, so we'll just leave it there, which is fine. But just some fun stuff right there. One encounters when doing lofts in Fusion. Anyways, that being said, let's continue. Let's just not spend too much time doing this. So I'm gonna do one little circle. It's gonna be maybe 0.7 pig, right? And I'm gonna extrude this upwards. Both. There we go. All the way up to the top. So I'm gonna say distance to object, and I'm gonna select that face. Excellently. And I'll say I wanna join. Good. And now the next thing, here's where the fun starts, which is we're gonna do a circular pattern. So pattern, circular features. I'm gonna select this bad boy, axis. Oh, there we go. For axis. That guy, 20. Okay. Now we're talking business. I like this. Very, very good. And now the last thing that I want to do is just something that goes around this structure. So what I'm thinking is that we said that was going to be 3.7, if I'm not mistaken. We can inspect, we can measure, and if I click in there, it does indeed tell us that that diameter is 3.7. Very good. So what we're going to do is the following thing. I'm going over here to sketch, and I'm going to do a circle that goes all the way from the middle up to, oh boy, just like that. And I'm gonna make this one be 1.18, which is just actually should be a little bit bigger. Maybe 2.3, 2.5, 3. No, actually 3. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. And then the next circle I'm gonna do is gonna be 3.7. 3.7. Well, perhaps a little bit less. I'll say 3.65. Very good, just like that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extrude this downwards by -34. And I want to join. The way there is a little bit of a gap, maybe what I'm gonna do is feature, maybe that way it's more noticeable. There, just like that. So what am I gonna do with this? The following thing. First thing, I'm gonna fillet that edge by, let's see, 0.2. That point is a lot. That is a lot as well. Yeah, we know that is okay. That was like noticeable, very good. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fillet. I'm gonna now okay to chamfer this edge by a lot more. That one, yes, I do want like a solid. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, this is starting to look like a nice little compress. This is just a fidget spinner, right? Nothing too fancy, but I like it. And maybe just for the fun of it, we could chamfer. Well, let's see how that look like if I were to give it a 0.5. Ooh. Yeah, so let me select all of them. We go. Let's do 1.5. Actually, maybe that might be possible if we do it. See, there, maybe something like this. I'm just trying out new stuff, right? I'm not sure whether this will end up working or not. I don't know. Oh, I messed up somewhere. Yes, of course I did. There we go. That looks nice. So the next thing I'm gonna do is, well, remember this plane that we created before? Let's try and see whether we can mirror all of this stuff beneath it. So to do that, I think it's where's our friend? The mirror here. So I want to select features, and the features that I'll select are well, first that extrude, then that boy, then this guy, then that guy, then this guy, this guy, this guy. And then around which plane? This one right there. Let's see. Oh, there's one error. What is your error? I think I'm gonna do the mirroring without the fillets and all that stuff. So let's see. I'm gonna go here to mirror. Features. Let's do with this stuff. I'm mirroring plane, this one. I'll just see. Hopefully this will work. Yes, so there's a thing that in general it's the same thing with Fusion. It doesn't like mirroring stuff. Right, so now I need to, oh, I forgot to do the something very important in this mirroring. Let me just edit or select the pattern too. That's not a problem because, well, actually, it is a problem. um, Let's try again. There we go. Now that I have all of the stuff that I wanted, do your magic. Okay, very good. Yes, it's not trivial. Now, it's not the end of the world. I just need to do a quick good of fillets there and there. I mean, we did 0.05, right? There we go. Then in here for the chamfer, it doesn't like doing mirrorings of chamfer, so you need to do it manually. But it's again not the end of the world to do something like that. Boy, I like this fidget. It looks very nice. And then we'll do just a chamfer of these old cases. That was also 0.05, I believe. Good. So now the last thing that remains is, well, this plane height. There we go. So we got a nice looking fidget. This color actually looks appropriate. I don't really want to change it. So the next thing I want to do is like the little space where one would place like their finger in there, right? So that is like, when you're like holding it like this. So to do that, what we could do is the following thing. What I'm thinking in here is I would want to create maybe, oh, yeah, good way of doing this. There we go. I'm just doing a little rectangle that happens to be halfway through there because will prove to be. There's some tools about plane no, yes, no, I'm sorry. There's some things about plane creation in Fusion that I'm not the fondest of. Um, it's not as straightforward as it would be in SolidWorks. But suppose that I would want that piece to be, actually, I don't need, I can just make this be like 101, doesn't matter. The reason why I'm doing is because now I'm gonna start literally, it was just to create this face. And I'm gonna make a sketch that goes straight from here. And I'll explain exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna first create a line that goes all the way from the middle to that edge. Very good. And then it goes up diagonally like this. Then I'm gonna create another line. This is a straight construction line that goes like that. That way I can define, say, like that height, which is gonna be 0.1. And potentially this angle, which is gonna be, say, 70 degrees. Good. The next thing I'm gonna do is a little line. That's gonna go maybe all the way like that. Maybe 0.05. Yeah, that sounds decent, given the scale of our big fidget. And then we'll just wrap up by doing a quick line that goes maybe like that. Oh, let's give this a good old, maybe 0.03. And then I'll do a spline that goes like that. Okay. I just want to now modify this little spline. Oh, it's this point. if I wanted to be like very, very precise, I believe that there's the tangent command. What I could do is say draw one line that goes like that. It's just a random line that you can make into a construction. There we go. Just define this. And then what I could say is I can click this line, control that line, and make those tangents. That way it's completely flat in there. So why am I doing this? Because then I can go here to create, then go to our friend revolve, which is, where is it? I see it's in solid. That's why I wasn't finding it. About revolve, and I'm gonna with the so that's profile, and the axis is gonna be this, or the profile is like this and that. It's gonna be a join anyways. Why do no overlap? What are you saying? Let's see. Oh, I see what I mean. Maybe it might work there. I'm not sure. We'll see. Let's see. Oh, finally. There we go. Yeah, I think that line is very good. It's fine. Yeah, so now we got the top of our fidget right there. All our good old engine design. Now let's mirror that as well in the bottom. So very easy to do. We're going to create a mirror. There we go. So we're gonna select this bad boy and that bad boy down there. Mirror plane. It's gonna be, I believe it's that one. Let me see if I find it here. Yeah. It requires patience. This work. Excellent. Now we go down. We should be able to see it. Excellent. Very good. But there we go. This is a jet engine inspired fidget spinner of like three different stages. And I think it looks pretty decent in there. And I kind of like that line overall. So hopefully I hope you learned something useful. Let me actually see one more second whether I can try filleting that stuff. I'm just curious to see. I'm gonna give it slightly. I mean, I like it, but not so much. So before I end, that's the very last thing I want to do. Let's see, do it. Okay. Oh, but I don't want to figure. I want a chamfer. It was a chamfer. What I wanted. There we go. It was kind of round, and I don't want roundness. There we go. Maybe 0.5 would work. Wow, I like it. So in here as well. Okay, great. There we go. This is the fidget spinner. Well, hopefully you can try and replicate something like this back home. Well, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. All right. Hi, folks. Welcome back. I guess on this last portion of the video, which is filmed in an entirely different continent from the one that we normally found ourselves on, I just wanted to do just a quick demonstration on how you would CAD a cube satellite, which is just a very small type of satellite, and maybe it's about this big. This is my childhood bedroom, I suppose. Just for those of you that are wondering, and that over there, those are Bionicles for anybody that follows is a nerd like me that likes Legos. In any case, let me share my screen and let's start to CAD. Yeah, so to be more precise here, I'm just back my screen. I'm gonna hide myself just a second. There we go. So you're here to pictures. So this is what I have in mind so far. So let's give this a shot. Let's see how. Let's try to CAD something like this in Fusion. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go up to Fusion. I'll start a sketch in here. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'll start a rectangle. Maybe this type of center rectangle might be the best kind in here. I'm gonna give it a general shape like this. Maybe let's dimension that to be, so this is in inches, right? So I want maybe the size to be, let's say 5 inches. And I'm gonna do the same thing in here. And then I'm gonna draw a couple of rectangles right there, something like this. These are gonna represent like the edges of these guys. And I'm gonna hit Control and I'm gonna select all of those lines, just like I'm doing right now. And then there's these constraints tab in there, and I'm gonna make all of them equal. So now it's as easy as dimensioning. Well, yes, there we go. Well, actually, I didn't want the diagonal. So I'm gonna do Control Z just to get rid of that. I just want to dimension one of the sides like that. So maybe I'll make that 0.5. Yeah, that is decent. Just to go back to our pictures. There we go. Yeah, it has like some form of like beam structure. You can see it's like 2 columns. It's just more like decoration. So the way I'm gonna do is I'm gonna expand this, then I'll probably give this, we'll make like these side panels, and there's decoration. Hopefully it won't be too difficult. We'll make obviously some form of circular pattern, and then we're gonna extend maybe some, this is where we're gonna get a little bit creative. We're gonna extend some maybe sideways like panels as well. Or maybe yeah, something along these lines, but I don't want these sticks. We'll make it look a little bit prettier than these ones. Yeah, so let's see. Let's give this a shot. Another next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here to solid and I'll start selecting all of these areas. And so it's gonna be a relatively simple design, but I think the overall results might look pretty. There we go. And maybe for height, I will give it 5 inches. Good. Excellent. So maybe the next thing I'm gonna do is go here to do a sketch here on the top face. And I just wanna draw a bunch of little rectangles since I wanna extrude these ones just by a little bit more. Just like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing exactly on the bottom side in just a second. 2, 3, 4. And I want to extrude these by actually, yeah, 0.5, it's a little bit too much, so maybe 0.25. Excellent. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing down here. All right. One thing I like is that, yes, now when I went into sketch mode to draw these rectangles, it just, the view automatically changed to face us. But now if I were to go to solid, I believe that it's actually, no, it didn't do that. I was wrong. There was a time where it would go back to what it was before. It's okay. I'm gonna give that there 0.25. Boom. Okay. So we got our main CubeSat shell, not too difficult. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start working on this particular face in here. And then we'll figure out how to make the like the side panels. So I'll probably do the side panels on those two sides. So maybe here, what I'll do is I wanna do a structure that looks maybe most similar to this one in here, something along those lines. So let's see. Let's see how we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna go here and we got, this is 5 by 5. So what we could do is actually maybe this offset tool might be useful in here. So maybe I'll do 0.25. Let's see how big would that be. And I'm gonna flip the direction. Yeah, I like that. I'll say okay. And maybe I can draw a center line. It goes right there. Good. Maybe a quick center rectangle. But I don't want that to be, there we go. Just like that. And I'm gonna dimension that to be 0.25. Boom, so those are gonna become our, I guess, panel area per se. We're gonna call them like that. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go here to solid. I'll choose these two areas, and yes, I wanna extrude inwards. Maybe 0.1, let's see. No, so let me edit this, edit feature. I'm gonna say negative, very good. Oh, see what happens, there we go. I'll say cut. Now, yes, so now it's starting to look. Maybe the next thing I want to do is fillet, actually, every edge. Yes, so this might be the one part where maybe might not completely translate nicely when we do a circular pattern. So we'll see. Maybe I believe I chose one wrong edge. Whichever that one is. Wonder how I can remove them. I'll just choose them again. 1, 2. 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. And I'll actually make it a little more subtle, 125. Yeah, that sounds excellent. Okay, good. I've got a little structure. Oh, there we go. Nice in there. Step 2 is making a, let's go here to create a pattern, circular pattern. Let's see. I'm gonna, for objects, I know bodies, I wanna select features. There we go. So let's see. It might complain about the fillets, but that we'll see in a second. And then I'm gonna go over here. Let's see what is our axis. It might be the Z. There we go. And I want to make 4 of these. Good. Let's see. Actually didn't complain. That's excellent. Good. I just want to do it in certain parts. That way it's not too terrible. Good. So now that we got this part of the cube set done, now let's try and play by making some of the decorations, right? So how does a panel look like? Let's see. I want to make it nice with all the details, right? Let's maybe look for, let's say, solar panels. Let's see the details. We'll go here down to Amazon. Well, the reality, I think that is just like making like very, very tiny lines. It looks something like that. And then there's like little arrays. So maybe that's what we'll end up doing. We'll make 2 big lines that go like there and then like some tiny arrays. So let's give that a shot. I'm gonna draw right there. So maybe I'll draw, say, from here. I want to click here. I'll click there and I'll make those 2 coincident. Very good. Same thing like that. Excellent. And I'll make the exact same thing right over there. Good. And excellent. All right. So maybe another thing that we could do that could help us here is I'm going to draw a couple of center lines. You'll see why these will be useful in just a second. I'm going to draw it like that. Then now one that goes, yeah, maybe to the middle and then like that. Yeah, I know that that is undefined. I know that. Then another one that goes all the way like that. And another one like this. Very good. So what am I gonna do with all of these? Well, I'm gonna select that one, then that one, that one, and that one. I will make all of them equal. Well, maybe before I do that, maybe what I'll do is I'll select this one. I'll select that one. Wait, I don't think they're all particularly parallel. They go equal. So then this one, this one, this one, and that one. I'm gonna make them equal. Actually, before I do that, I think those two should be parallel. And I'll make these guys parallel too. Maybe I'll delete these couple of lines. There we go. Okay, let's do it again. Equal, and then this, there's that, there's this. And then I'm gonna make them equal as well. Oh, there we go. I think that's okay. Maybe I'll define this distance in here to be, oh, there we go. It is this distance in particular that I don't want. But make this distance in here be 0.125. There we go. I mean, that looks decent. And then we'll start making a couple of the grids for the, I mean, that's fine. Okay. So I'll go here to solid and I'm gonna extrude these guys by, let's see, if we extrude that one, 1.5, join. Nice. I mean, just for simplicity, I may or may not leave like this. I'm debating whether maybe I'll do a couple of the side details. Let's see. I'll draw. Oh, like this, and then I'm gonna make that be 0.5. Much thinner. Good. And yeah, I should probably say that I would want. I kind of didn't specify that very well. Is I want this point to be they're coincident. Let's see. Good. I'll do the same thing on the other side. It's a very tedious process, this one, but it will look nice. It will look nice in the end. And I'm gonna make these guys go up by even this 0.01. This is a join. Oh my goodness, I should have selected. Let me just say that. Edit feature. Yeah, on that area too. Very good. Right, maybe I'm gonna edit that sketch. I might make the thickness of this thing be. Where did I even define that? Oh, here. No. Where is it? Here. Make that 0.02 actually. Very good. Now it looks like very, very, very subtle. Yeah, so maybe what I'll do from here is a good old rectangular pattern. So I'm gonna select features. Yes, that one. And axis is gonna go along there. So let's say that I want, yeah, maybe 3, let's say 5, a distance of 0.2. Actually, that's too little, maybe 0.5. I can do as many as I want, actually. Oh, that is too many. Oh, I see it. I think that's the total distance that it will traverse. Exactly. Um, yeah, that doesn't look too bad, actually. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Selecting. Actually, I could do symmetric. Oh, I like that. I like that. So maybe I should do one odd number. Yeah, that looks decent. I like that. Let's do the exact same thing below. Like a nice gridded structure in there. Let's give it some details over here. Oh, it's gonna be a pain to color of this. I'm not sure whether I'm gonna do that or not. But I mean, it looks. That's the one thing I don't like about Fusion. It's just it's a lot more difficult to paint stuff as opposed to SolidWorks. So maybe I'll just leave it as a nice gray looking figure. Uh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, the thing is that when it's an orange line, it means it's not. Let me just delete that. I'm gonna delete this. Let's draw another line. Let's see. Where is our friend the midpoint? Is it that? I don't even know what's the distance. We can measure this from here to here. That is 2.125, I see. Okay. Which means that maybe I want this distance here to be 2.125 over 2. Good. Okay. Now it turned black, which means it's all fully defined. So that's good. And now we are gonna make one more rectangle. All the way like that. Good. Now let's define this to be 102, as we said. 102. Excellent. Now we got the same issue that we had previously. Control that. Coincident. Good. Now let's do the exact same thing on the other side. Coincident. Okay, so let's extrude this bad boy. And we said that we were going to bring it up by 0.01 and join. Excellent. And let's do a quick pattern. Features. This guy. Let's do axis. This bad boy. I think we said we wanted 9. 2. Just make it symmetric. What's the one? Maybe it was 1. I don't even remember. That looks about right. Okay. Not bad so far. It's a nice looking CubeSat. So maybe this would be a good point to actually save the file. Yes, this is the correct folder. It says week 1, but this is week 3. And I'm going to call this CubeSat. Let's save that. Excellent. So now let's do a quick old good old circular pattern. And the features that we're going to select are 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. This might be intense, but hopefully it would work. Let's see. Ah, good. Well, I forgot actually one more feature, so I'm gonna edit circular pattern. I forgot to include these guys. Let's see. I can select them again. So 1, 2. Oh, I just delete this. I'll do another one. All right, let's go here to circular pattern. Excellent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Z. Good. Oh, nice. What a nice looking satellite. Yeah, so when I do the panels that extend sideways, it's gonna be here. Yeah, so let's do a couple of details here on the top, just to make this. Maybe I'm gonna make some details on the column, I think, just to make it look nice. On these guys. Like nothing too fancy really, but it's just, since this is already looking quite nice to my liking, I'm just gonna make this look even nicer. Just gonna make a little rectangle in here. Length of this guy be 5.3. Length of that guy be 105. And I'm gonna extrude cut. Maybe 101. Cut. Let's see. Yeah, obviously not gonna cut because I want to go inwards there. Oh, let me go do 0.01, just like that. Excellent. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Right here. This is more like decoration, right? And maybe I'll do a couple of things there as well. Because why not? I mean, the circular pattern seems to be working decently well tonight. So this is gonna be nice. This is more like extras, right? But just to give you an idea that it doesn't take a lot of like knowledge of like fancy commands, right? To do something that looks fairly decent, in my opinion. Right, so 5.3 again, and 105 again. But excellent. Now maybe let's fill it a little bit those corners and see how would that look like. Let's see. How would that look like? Hmm, interesting. I wonder whether, yeah, rolling ball. Actually, setback might be for that one. Hmm, nah, I don't really. Instead of a fillet, I might do a chamfer. I'll just chamfer all these corners. And if there's anything more interesting, no. Yeah, maybe 7.5. Yeah, same thing in here. Chamfer it down there, chamfer. 7.5. Boom. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more subtle. Just like that. Feature. Very nice. Okay, so I think that's looking nice. So let's do a quick circular pattern to replicate those things as well. So here, create pattern, pattern, circular pattern. So what are we gonna select? So it was this cut, and those two chamfers. Along which axis? The z-axis for, okay. All right, it's probably not gonna like, let me try again. It doesn't wanna do the chamfers most likely. So this I'll do these guys. That's the most important part. The chamfers are relatively easy. Now what I can do is I'll just do them myself in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. I'll do the same thing beneath it. Obviously, this is, as I like explaining, right? It's not a functional CubeSat. This is just a model of a CubeSat. If you're like a real one, then you would probably design it much more differently. This is more if somebody told you, right, what does like a CubeSat look like? I'm like, okay, it might look something like this, but I'm not sure. I would call it my own interpretation of one. And so maybe what I'll do here is some quick spots over here, or maybe I'd like to, let's see. I'm gonna create a bunch of these lines. Like that. But I'm gonna make some, there we go, excellent. Like that. I'll make some circles. These will be not concentric, just regular circles. We'll make them all equal. I'm not sure whether I want to do 4 or 6. I'll probably just stick to 4. I can select, I click on one of them, I select control, click on the other one, control the other one, control the other one, can make them all equal. And now I can just define these ones to be 0.2. And then I'm going to extrude them just by a very tiny amount. I'm going to extrude cut it. There we go. There we go. By 1. Excellently. It's looking realistic. So let's do yet one more circular pattern in here. Circular pattern of this feature. I don't know, the Z. Excellently. And so maybe I'm gonna do a couple of details there before heading into making the side panel, which is gonna be like super simple. It's just gonna be like an extension, like something that will look pretty much like that. Um, or perhaps maybe it might have like a hinge. I'm not sure how exactly I might do. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I'll make a slightly more interesting design of CubeSat or CubeSat like. Oh, I have an idea. Let's see. Um, hmm. It's gonna look something much identical to that. Or maybe. Mm. I think I know. I actually don't need this sketch. So I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna do sketch here. It's gonna be a sketch. There we go. Something along those lines. Yes, it's gonna be like a little triangle. In reality, I'll change it afterwards, but so far I'll leave it like this. Action. Okay. Because, maybe not even. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, I might make the height of these ones a little bit higher. Right. And I'm gonna make this go right to object. Well, that is it, folks. It took a while. I went a little bit experimental, giving it a little bit of that shape in there, but overall, I'm very satisfied with how this is looking like. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two by watching this very long, very long video. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.